He's 6'1", 197 pounds, that can jump out the gym, 40-plus vertical, 11-1 broad jump, great ball skills. And Bill now has someone that from a size perspective, is much different than the guys he already has. Look at him here in press coverage. He's as smooth as silk, long arm, off-hand jam, pin the guy to the boundary, play the football, off coverage. Easy, fluid hips.
Oh, yeah, some of the breakdown there. Is that Charles Davis on the Patriots selecting Christian Gonzalez.
I'm back, baby.
At 17 overall. And Andy Hart's back. Your immediate reaction to the guy you wanted all along, the Oregon corner, getting picked by the Pats.
Bill, I never doubted you for a minute, buddy.
You sure about that?
Did a fine job.
That's why.
Moved down, got a little extra draft capital, and got the man we all wanted all along. Let's be honest, we all felt the same way.
We were nervous.
We were all bitching. Patriot Nation, I just apologized for you, for me, for us on Twitter to
What was
Bill.
that word? Apologized?
Hey!
It's a long night.
You're struggling.
6-hour show, by the way. Thanks
No,
for
we're going
tuning
longer.
into us.
All
We're going
night
past
long.
This.
All night long. We'll turn it into a charitable foundation endeavor like Christian Fourier, baby.
That's right.
No, this is perfect. Interesting side note.
Uh-huh.
Who wanted Zero when Zero became available?
Jack
Jack
Jones.
Jones.
Oh, Jack, you're not the number one corner anymore. The new
get to
number
fight
one
over
corner
Zero?
who wore zero at Oregon
They'll
will
fight
be
over it.
taking it. But no, the domino effect is the best part of this. Christian Gonzalez 1, Jack Jones 2, Jonathan Jones slot,
Yep.
Jalen Mills safety. Secondary is set.
Almost like I said all of those things while you had stepped out of the studio.
I had to go
momentarily.
do it like a.
You guys
a
are
thing.
so in sync, I think.
But that's
is
the
what it
thing.
is.
When we do a podcast together, yes, we
He
basically.
steals my brain.
That's the last thing I would ever want to do. Now I owe an apology to Fourier. Unbelievable.
All right, you
He
guys
got
can
his
pick
guy.
this up later. We're going to go to a real NFL expert. We're going to go to the Harbor One hotline right now. Mike Giardi joins the show. Mike, how are you?
Hello, Rich. How are you, gentlemen?
I'm very
The
good.
real expert wasn't available, so we called Mike.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
Don't know who you're
Good one. Good one.
Mike, just so you understand, just to qualify, Andy has had somewhere between 500 and 800 milligrams of caffeine tonight. He's had 3 energy drinks, 2 sodas, and can barely, he's jittering, he's chattering his teeth, he's
Hopped
itching
up.
his skin.
He texted me a couple hours ago, and he said, I've had a lot of caffeine. I'm like, oh, boy, here we go.
But I'm also
let it all
excited.
happen.
Yeah,
How
we're
could I
pumped.
not? It's
We're pumped.
draft night. How often are we happy in the first round? Somebody that we all lusted for said it's the biggest need. He's the best player. And then they trade down, and it's a kick to the nuts. But then when you pop your head up from, oh, my God, you got the guy you wanted. The secondary falls into place. The defense falls into place. And when was the last time we were all excited about the Patriots?
Are you okay?
Wait, can they clip that? That has got to be – there was a noise in there. There was a sound effect. That has got to be like when the Hart and Fitzy show happens on the weekends of the Fitzy and Hart show. I don't know how you guys
his
phrase
ego.
that. Yeah, I know you got to stroke his ego. I understand that. But that probably should be like the thing that you play when you're bumping in.
But am I wrong?
And Andy Hart, whatever noise you just made there.
That's his happy noise.
No, you're not wrong. I'm trying to think of a time, like, you know what? I actually like the Sony Michel pick. I know running backs first round. I know how that all played out. No, I loved the kid in college. And I'm like, at 30, guys got this burst. And I'm like, he didn't turn out to be that guy in New England, although he did help you win that Super Bowl in 2018. But like, maybe that's the last time I was kind of like, oh, I kind of like that. This one, it's that plus something, because I think, I was making the rounds this week, and one of the things I said was, we knew because of the quarterback potential in this draft that there were going to be a couple players that might fall. And then I said to myself, well, who would you go and target? And I thought Paris Johnson at left tackle. And I thought Witherspoon, who ends up going 5th overall to Seattle. And then I thought Gonzalez. And in fact, Gonzalez from just a sheer trait standpoint is like, I mean, look, my phone's been blowing up from scouts who dealt with him and were sort of focused on him. And they're like, well, no, but they're just like, this dude to them was like a top 5 guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened aside from some of the quarterback run. I don't know what happened. And I'm sure we'll find out the backstory about why he slipped a little bit. There'll be somebody had a concern about this, that, or the other thing. But, if he's checked out physically, like in a lot of ways, he kind of reminds me of Gilmore, just in terms of the way he mirrors receivers. Look, I think Steph proves to be a pretty good player against the run, and I think that's a place where Gonzalez is going to have to work on. But in terms of the way he covers and sort of those cover skills, Like, I think he has that kind of ceiling. So yeah, you should be excited. It worked out nicely.
We're a lot more excited than Gonzalez by the looks of it. I don't know if that was, my first reaction is like, oh no, like he doesn't want to be on the Patriots. But the more we thought about it, we got a bunch of text-ins. Like maybe he just thought he was going to go a whole lot higher than he did, and then he goes 17. He's like relieved that it's over, but also kind of pissed that he wasn't, a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's hard to read into that sometimes.
Right.
But you're sitting in that room and you're thinking, yeah, I could be. You're definitely thinking he's top 10. Like I think there's no question in his mind. He's thinking like, I'm not getting out of the top 10. And then all of a sudden you get out, and then people start making trades, and you're like, wait, and like the Commanders picking Forbes one spot ahead of him. Like Forbes is kind of awesome. Like if you watch him and but 165 pounds, but it's a unique selection by the Commanders just based on, that size. I mean, we're talking about Jack Jones last year being 100 and whatever he was, 175 pounds, being like, you don't usually do that in this league, at least as an outside corner, and the Commanders go do it. So yeah, I could see him totally being disappointed. And you know what? That just be something that you can use to motivate a little bit. Yeah, they told you guys you kind of sucked, right? You're supposed to go top 5, supposed to go top 10. Dropped all the way to 17. So why don't you go show everybody they were wrong?
Hey, Mike, I'm not sure exactly how you reacted when the Patriots initially traded out of 14. Now, with hindsight, of course, we're able to see that the Patriots got somebody who they obviously wanted at 17. And another positive, they blocked the Jets from getting Broderick Jones by allowing the Steelers to jump up at 14. So that's a double plus. But what was your initial reaction at 14? Did you think that the Patriots were going to keep trading back? Did you think they still had their eye on Gonzalez? What was the general thinking there?
I mean, I thought they would have taken Gonzalez there. And look, either they got really good intel that the Commanders were enamored with Forbes, or they just rolled the dice and said, if he's there at 17 again, or whatever falls in our lap at 17, the best player available, we'll go take him. Because that is a little bit of a risk. I mean, they take a corner there, so you'd have to have great intel, and I don't know how. Teams aren't sharing that generally. I don't think anyone's trying to help the Patriots, just like the Patriots aren't trying to help anybody else, at least anybody who's not from the family, if you will.
So, Mike, does this really kind of lend the idea that maybe Belichick is going to go back to playing a lot more man coverage? I know last year we talked about zone coverage left and right with the Patriots defense. Does Gonzalez allow you to just play man-to-man and just allow you to get your pass rushers in there and let Judon and Uche and those guys go to work?
Yeah, no question. I think they wanted to play more man. They just didn't have the personnel for it. I mean, when you're rolling out Jalen Mills as one of your outside corners, it's just not an ideal place to put him in. And even to some degree, having like obviously John Jones gave them a ton, but having to play outside, that's just not ideal. And now, like you said, if it falls into place and Gonzalez can establish himself early as one of the boundary corners, one of the outside corners, then that does allow you to play a little bit more of that, because I think Jack is pretty good at it. Maybe not as physical as you would like, but again, there's a little bit of a body type issue there in terms of how physical can you be at 175, 180 pounds. But this definitely gives them, I think, a little bit more flexibility, because that's how they want to play. And I don't like especially when you look at the for never mind the division, the entire conference, and you look at, play zone against some of these guys, you're just going to get picked to death. It's just not going to work. I mean, Kirk Cousins picked him to death, and Kirk Cousins is the 15th best quarterback in the league.
So, Mike, I'm not sure if you're aware, there's this place called Reddit, and on that place called Reddit, there were rumors that the Patriots were going to trade up to number 2 for Will Levis. Excuse me?
That was stupid. That whole stuff.
It was Mike. It was entertaining for a day at least.
Sure, it's entertaining, but this whole story got unraveled, and the person that was posting it as breaking, and then admitted that they were just breaking theories.
Oh,
they were just theories.
Anyway, so
yes,
are we locked, loaded, Mac Jones all in? Or is there still
no?
No,
I don't think they're no. I look. I think there are some prominent people within the organization, and one in particular that really likes Levis. but I never really thought that was going to be the pick, because I think there are other people in there that are saying, we invested a first-round pick in this kid 2 years ago. We went to the playoffs with him. And again, as I keep saying, he was pretty good. And then this whole season unraveled. And it started with the decision made by Bill to put Matt in charge of the offense and Joe Judge in the quarterback's room. And some of the things that happened after, Mac has to own, surely. But some of it is also just born on sheer frustration of, again, we've had this conversation. They knew it wasn't going to work in the spring. And then they saw it in the summer, and it's not working, and there were no changes made. There was, again, you talk to people around the league, there were no easy buttons for him to push in that offense. Like, hey, we just need an easy completion. Nope, don't have it. We don't have the scheme for it. We don't have the players for it. We don't have the mind in the offensive coaching room to design it. And Matt was an easy target for us, and he, it doesn't always help himself. But, that was Bill. Bill screwed Matt, and Bill screwed the whole offense. And to me, 8 and 9 and Mac taking a giant step back is because of Bill. And now, look, yes, there's more pressure on Mac because clearly there's feelings have changed about him within the building, but also feelings in the fan base have changed. So now he's got to go out and earn it. I know, I say this all the time, I don't care who starts. I don't care if it's Bailey Zappi. I don't care if Trace McSorley comes in and just lights the world on fire and ends up being your quarterback. It doesn't matter. They know they have to be better there, and they think by putting Bill O'Brien in place, that now they have a real system, and this guy's going to get coached by a real offensive coach. And there's a lot on him. He's going to have to sink or swim this year. But I just to make the shift again and to go back to another rookie quarterback, it would have to be a really unique set of circumstances, and I just don't think there's enough people involved in that decision, especially when it comes to the quarterback. That's more than just the coaches. That's more than just the scouts. That goes up to ownership. I just don't think there was enough appetite for that.
11 picks left in the first round. Any chance the Patriots trade up and try to get back into the draft before the night's over?
Zay, it's possible.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
All night,
really?
all night.
I don't. Jesus, that sucked so bad. Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, look at how many freaking fourth-round picks do they have? I mean, they have so much currency now.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. So maybe they have the ammo now. If they wanted to do it, they could do it now. Again, whether they want to commit another year, the 5-year versus the 4-year, I don't know. I don't know how they feel about that. I mean, they get funny with money sometimes over there, so I don't know. But look, I guess if there's somebody that they had rated fairly high, and they say, well, that guy's not going to be there when we pick in the second round, but he might be there at the tail end of the first round. Do we really need all these fourth-round picks? Do we really need that sort of currency? No, go package a couple of those and make the move up. I guess, time will tell, obviously, but it's not a bad thought because they do have the ammunition to go do it.
Whether they do that in the first round or they stay on the board at 46 tomorrow night, is there a position you think is most likely that they would target?
I still think they need to look at tackle, and obviously all the good ones were, at least the highly rated ones were gone by 15, and now you're sort of in that second tier of tackles. They obviously have some familiarity with the kid from Alabama. Bill coached him, so is there something there? Are they saying, hey, that guy's just as good or close to a reasonable facsimile of what went in at 15 with Broderick Jones, that sort of thing. But that's definitely a need for, as far as I'm concerned. I still don't think that they're even remotely close to good enough at that position right now. So, is there a guy that they like that can contribute fairly quickly? I think that would be a spot that I would look at for sure. And I'm all about the need for they need more playmakers. And it was kind of interesting because I thought maybe that Gibbs might go late first round, and maybe that might be a place where you come back and sneak back into the first round, and then you get your pass catching back, and you're not the Bijan Robinson conversation that we had. Like, as much as Bijan is an awesome player, and I think he's going to be really good in the league, like the idea of picking him at 14 seemed a little rich, even though, again, he's probably the best player or one of the best players in the draft. For all their needs, it just seemed like, and you have Ramondre, but okay, now if you're talking about the back end of the first round and someone was there like that, maybe that's something you do. And maybe, again, to your point, maybe that's where if Zay Flowers is sitting there, and they did spend a lot of time with Zay, that maybe you slide back up there and take a shot at it, because their offense. Yeah. I mean, just not no one on that offense scares you. When your best player on offense is a running back, you're in trouble, and they were in trouble.
All right, it's NFL Insider Mike Giardi. Mike, thanks for spending some time with us idiots here tonight. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, and someone get Hart some water and bread. Nope. We got to soak up the caffeine.
I tried.
Correct.
I'm grabbing another C4.
No, Jesus.
Have mercy on us all.
Thank you, Mike.
Good luck.
Thanks, Mike.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, that was we'll see how Hart does. Another hour and a half here. So looks like we have since the Christian Gonzalez pick to the Patriots 17, we have had 4 selections, including the first 2 wide receivers off the board. Jackson Smith and Jigba going to the Seattle Seahawks, which is interesting. They now have a nice trio of receivers. And then the very next pick, the Los Angeles Chargers went with Quentin Johnston, the TCU, the one big receiver.
Yeah.
There's like all these little receivers. Yep. But so took a while. Last year, I think there were 6 in the top 20 wideouts.
Yep.
Now there were 1 in the top 20, but back-to-back 20 and 21.
So now
Matthew Judon wrong again.
Mike Williams and Quentin Johnston. So that's going to be a hell of a big 1-2 when healthy.
I was going to say, how many
Keenan
games
Allen
they
kind of on the way out, but like you had Josh Palmer to that mix too. Those are some big, fast wide receivers on the outside.
They needed speed too, and Quentin Johnston will give them a little bit of that. I felt like Zay might have been a better fit there, but they really liked Quentin Johnston.
Really?
Now, can he fix their dum-dum coach?
No.
Okay.
Nobody can.
No, I don't think anybody can. Picking at 22 coming up is the Baltimore Ravens. But let's hear from you guys. 617-779-7937. Really one of the first times I can think of where unanimously it is a liked pick by Bill Belichick in the first round. Mac Jones was very split. Go back to like Isaiah Wynn, Sony Michel split. This one seems to be a consensus. People like it. Let's go to Chuck in New Hampshire on Gonzalez. What do you got, Chuck?
Yo, what's up, boys? I'm loving the draft special here. Let's just say I'm watching on Twitch. This show ain't the only thing going 6 to midnight, all right?
I hear you.
But so a couple things with the Gonzalez pick. I love it because a few weeks ago I was really hoping that he was going to kind of be there around 14. As we got closer to the draft, it looked like a lot of people really thought he was going closer to top 5. So the fact that they were able to move back and get who they wanted, and it's the best of both worlds where you don't always want to just draft for need. You want to get talent, but you also have to get better. They got the best of both worlds where they needed this, and they also got arguably the best talent still left on the board and really should have been gone much earlier, at least according to, kind of what the experts think. And I think this is just going to be a huge foundational piece for the defense, because I think when you look at the way the division is set up, you can't try to fight fire with fire. We can't try to have our offense beat other offenses. We need to cool down those offenses with a great defense. You guys kind of touched on it. The trickle-down effect is huge on this. The fact that now Jack Jones, who's really scrappy, real fiery guy, can be the number 2 corner. John Jones goes back into the slot. We always have solid safety play. I mean, Duggar's looking, sort of like a stud, good edge rushers. I think things are really starting to round out now. Hopefully this is a great foundational piece for the defense for years to come. And, offense is going to take some time, but I think this is huge for the defense.
I agree, Chuck. And it's a great point, too, on when sometimes you always get the question leading up to a draft. It's like, do you take best available or your biggest need? It's like, well, what if it's the same thing?
Both.
Yeah. What if it's the same thing? That's a win.
Oftentimes when we as onlookers feel good about a pick, right, is you're like, you took best available, and he fills that hole. That was really big. And I think that's perfect. I hadn't even thought in the extension of the dominoes, this also allows our guy Marcus Jones to be an offensive player.
Sure does.
Great thinking, Andy. He doesn't just have to play corner anymore, because if John Jones is healthy, now granted there'll be times you're going to need 4 or 5 corners on the field.
Yeah,
perhaps.
but I was worried that they couldn't have 2 or 3. No, like you've added depth. Everybody bumps down a slot, and are we feeling better about the team just because of one pick? Like, does this pick change the tenor, the feel?
What do they say? Nature feels like it's healing itself a little bit.
Does.
A little orders.
You guys be quiet. I want Scheim to talk because he's over here nodding like,
look, I love this pick. I think it's good for the Patriots defense. It doesn't really change much. Like, their win total, I'm still going to go under. Like, I still don't think they're
What's the number?
7.5.
I still don't. Under that?
Yeah. I still don't think they're I still think they're the 4th best team in the division. Like, this isn't a game changer, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think there was anything they could do in the draft that was going to say, "Oh, look out, rest of the division." But there is a building block, like the caller was talking about, and like where they're going from here. If Aaron Rodgers is done in a year, if Tua is, unfortunately for him, if he can't stay on the field,
Tyreek Hill's done at the end of his contract,
and if the Bills keep losing all their good players besides Josh Allen, like, okay, now where are you? Because every year we do the how many good young players do the Patriots have? How many players under 25 do they have? And you're like.
Also, how many impact, and I did this exercise with Fourier one day, put him on the spot. What are the most important positions in football, I asked him, and he listed them. And I said, at what of those positions do the Patriots have a dominant player? And pass rusher is one of them, Matt Judon. That's about it. You don't have a tackle. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a number one receiver. You didn't have a number one cornerback.
No.
You just hopefully, theoretically, optimistically filled that box. And that is a part of building, and maybe more so with the Patriots than anybody else, their history. Bill likes to live in the last 25 years, so I'll live there with him. Last 25 years, when their defense is good, they have a number one corner. They have a legit, and I'm going to defend Christian Gonzalez beyond just the.
I don't think you need to defend him. I think
you guys were like,
oh,
does he not want to be on the Patriots?
No.
We just had fun with the
Did you
fact
hear
that.
what I said after?
But listen,
Like he just woke up.
Even another step from that, who did Giardi compare him to?
Stephon Gilmore, who also
barely
is an
had
emotionless,
a pulse. Barely had a pulse.
A total brobot.
No,
who
but
had
I think
pulse.
He
So
would
we
talk
love him.
crap in the locker room, but it would be like a whisper, and you're like, did he just say the other guy sucked? Yeah. And maybe Christian Gonzalez has
a
that
silent assassin, the calm,
yes,
which
the
is great.
calm.
No, I think it's way more.
When the
he
world
thought he
is
was a higher
chaos,
pick.
he is the storm.
And on that note,
Yeah,
that'll
I
do
really
it for
just-
the draft
hey,
show
I don't
tonight.
think that
Do you
made
want to
me
go
go-
do some push-ups or something?
I'm going to get a C4. See ya.
All right. 617-779-7937 if you want to get in here. We're on till midnight. It's a 6-hour program. Hart showed up late. He might leave early, but that's okay. Fitzy's here. Shime's here. I'm here. Again, up until midnight. And you can watch the show on Twitch as well. And who knows? Maybe the Patriots will trade back into the first round. At number 17 overall, though, Christian Gonzalez, the corner out of Oregon, which is unanimously loved here on the panel. But we'll be back with more of the draft special coming up next year on WEEI.